Magical slippers. This is a story of a skillful cobbler Ranga and a pair of a magical slipper made by him. Everyone was after those pair of magical slippers, but who got it? Read the story. Ranga was a very expert cobbler. He was 14 years old. He learnt this skill from his father. Ranga was once driving a nail to a shoe. After a while he realized something and said, "This shoe will not last any more, no matter how many nails I drive into it, but if you meet me I can try." A man came in named Bhupa. Bhupa asked, "If I am not wrong, are you Ranga, the master cobbler?" Ranga replied, "Yes, indeed, I am the same Ranga, the cobbler. Tell me how I can help you. Do you want me to serve you by mending your shoes?" Bhupa replied, No, I have come here to ask about my slippers which I gave you. Have you made that?" Ranga grinned and replied, "Oh, those slippers that can fly." Bhupa said, "Look, Ranga, I really want a pair of flying slippers. Please, can you make them fast for me, and I will give you as much money as you want. See, one pair of flying slippers can make you rich." And he kept a bag of gold coins in front of Ranga. Ranga thought for a while and asked, "Why do you want flying slippers?" Bhupa whispered, "Actually, I am a diamond merchant with flourishing business. If I will have those flying slippers, I could fly to any corner of the world and I would able to earn more wealth." Ranga smiled and said, "I am sorry, those flying slippers are not for you." Bhupa replied, "What are you saying? I can make you rich with lots of gold." Ranga said, "I am sorry, sir, those flying slippers are not for you." Bhupa frowns and finally goes away. Next day Ranga was engaged in his work. Suddenly there was a king passing by and came to Ranga and asked, "Ranga, I have come to meet you especially despite of being king of this land." Ranga said, "I welcome you, Highness. Please order me if I can do something for you." King asked, "I have just come to ask whether you make flying slippers." Ranga replied, "Yes, my lord." King said angrily, "If this is true, then how come you never made a pair of flying slippers for me? You will be punished for this ignorance." Ranga replied politely, "Your Majesty, I am here only. Do as you wish." King said, "I can forgive only if you obey my order and hand over to me that pair of magical slippers in 2 days and make those slippers attractive to a king's status." Ranga folded his hands and replied, "Oh my lord, you are the king of this land and you have all the possible things anybody could wish for." King said, "Of course I have." Ranga replied, "Then you must have flying slippers as well." King answered, "What a foolish question you asked. I am a king and I have lots of enemies. If I have own flying slippers, I would be able to destroy my enemies and become most powerful man of this earth." Ranga said, "Forgive me, your highness. The flying slippers are not for you." King suddenly drew his sword angrily, but something pulled him back and he stopped and said, "You will pay high for this," and went away. Again next afternoon Ranga was engaged in his work. He took a deep breath and looked around. Suddenly a little boy passed by. Ranga raised his voice and said, "Vallabh, my child, come to me." Vallabh stopped and came close to Ranga and asked, "Oh, Grandpa, you are here." Suddenly, Vallabh saw something and asked, "What is it?" Ranga asked, "Vallabh, where are you going so vigorously?" Vallabh replied, "To bring medicine for a neighbor. He is not feeling well." Ranga asked, "Okay, if I make a flying slipper for you, what would you do with that?" Vallabh thought for a while and replied, "Flying slippers? You mean slipper that can fly and can take me up in the air, and with this I can go and come anywhere?" Ranga nodded his head and smiled. "Yes, of course." Vallabh smiled and replied, "If I can fly, then I can help anyone and can help my mother too in bringing goods for household, and also I would fly up into the blue sky with birds." Ranga smiled and said, "Yes, I will make a pair of flying slippers within 2 days, and then you can do whatever wish you shared to me." What? Do you know Mother Teresa was a great social worker who did a lot for poor and ill people. Find more about her.
From the story, write yes or no for the following statements. The cobbler was very expert in his work. Yes. Bhupa was a greedy man. Yes. The king was very kind. No. Ranga decided to make a pair of flying slippers for the king. No. The boy was going to buy sweets for the neighbor. No. Look at the given pictures and number them correctly. 2, 1, 3, 4. Do it yourself. Make smaller words from the given words. Age, born, ship, lead, greed. Answer the following questions in one sentence each. Who trained Ranga in mending shoes? His father. What did Bhupa tell he would do with slippers? Bhupa wanted to fly to every corner of the world to earn more wealth. Why was the king angry with Ranga? The king was angry with Ranga because he refused to make the flying shoes for him. Why did Ranga give slippers to Vallabh? Ranga gave the slippers to Vallabh because he wanted to help anyone and his mother for bringing goods and fly high in the blue sky with birds. Let's know words. Read the descriptions and name the persons. A person who does social work. Socialist. A person who takes care of patient in hospital. Doctor. A person who deals in jewels. Jeweler. A person who mends shoes. Cobbler. A person who types in office. Typist. A person who works with iron. Ironsmith. Let's learn grammar. The present perfect of any verb is composed of 2 elements: the appropriate form of the auxiliary verb to have plus the past participle of the main verb. Example, she has visited our house. Now fill in the present perfect form of the verbs given in the brackets. I have walked for long. They have lived here since 2000. She has read the book. I have finished my homework.